Alrighty gang, welcome back to another drawing video with me. This time we're going to be playing around with masking fluid again and watercolours. Ooh, that was my tummy rumbling, don't know if the mic picked that up. So to start with, I just sketched out what I wanted with a very soft light 2H pencil, and then breaking all the rules I've discussed in previous art videos, I switched over to a mechanical pencil because I really wanted some tight and precise, harsh lines for this drawing. I wanted the pencil almost to look like pen whilst retaining its sort of soft pencil look. So for that, I wanted mechanical pencil. Then I moved on to the masking fluid, and I was just having fun here, splashing it all over the page, using very little care, just trying to form a sort of flower-like pattern, I guess. You know, something sort of fractally expanding and growing and blooming outwards, but not anything too detailed. Then just using the brush on patches of it that had slightly dried to splash out further bits of the masking fluid and create some dramatic strikes and dashes and lines that should hopefully, once I've painted it, look quite good. So, because I was wanting to cover a large area and make it look quite rough and sketchy, I picked up a large 1.5 inch flat brush with very soft bristles. I think it's still acrylic though. And got it loaded up with paint and water, mixed it around really nicely, making a nice sort of ink of paint and water, and then just applied that liberally on the page, trying to make these sort of explosion-like patterns. I was being very careful here to not apply too much moisture to the page. I didn't want any ugly bleeding or anything with this. I really wanted this to look quite nice and pristine. So I was being very careful with how I was applying the paint. I wanted certain areas when applying colours to blend and bleed, and other areas to remain these nice, striking, crisp watercolour edges. But most importantly, I also just wanted to have fun. I've really been having a lot of fun with my watercolours lately, gone back into them, and it's just been so fantastic. Been enjoying it more than ever. Just been trying to create these dramatic and striking sort of pop art style images. I don't know what genre they fall into. Rainbow watercolour fun painting. I don't know. I don't know. If somebody can think of a name for this style, then feel free to name it for me. Now, from previous experiments, I knew that I needed to avoid any green or blue when working with this, so I made sure to keep it within a spectrum of sort of yellow to amber orange and pink. The blues and the purples, whilst they look striking and incredible on their own, when mixed with the reds and the yellows, really start to muddy. You get these dark, ugly, browny, purple, green, just hard to describe ugly patches. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking for a bit and just let you enjoy this. Alrighty, I hope you enjoyed all of that. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of ASMR in general. I think most of it tends to be a bit weird, but I do get it for things like that. Like me personally, I just really enjoy the sounds that it makes as I'm doing it myself, and I know other people might enjoy that too, so I figured I'd just leave it in there for you anyway. So when removing the masking fluid, it did remove some of the pencil that I had drawn, just literally pulling the graphite from the page. It is glue, so I just had to carefully go back in and redetail those areas. Also then decided that this painting just didn't look finished yet. I really wasn't happy with it. It just looked unfinished. So I went back on with the masking fluid. At this point I was really wishing I hadn't removed any of it, because that was such a waste of time. This whole process could have been so much faster, but oh well. There are certain areas I wanted to make sure I masked, and there were certain areas I wanted to leave. I had a very specific plan in my mind of what I wanted to do at this point. So here I am, just carefully painting on the masking fluid onto the paint explosions, just around the borders and around the edges, because I didn't want any of the ink that I was going to be applying in the next phase to cover up any of the beautiful colour that was now on the page. Once it had all dried, it was time to get in there with the ink. I love inking. There is something about working with just good black ink that is so satisfying. The way it goes onto the page, it's just, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Maybe it's the permanence of it. It's the way that when you're working with ink in this manner, there is no going back. There is no Control Z or Command Z and undoing your mistakes. No, once you're working with ink in this manner, everything is final. Every move must be so deliberate and determinate, and it is a slow and careful process, even for something like this, which may look in the finished piece all random. I'm hoping it looks random and explosive in nature, but as you'll see from this process, it's far from it. It is a very deliberate and careful selection of placements for all these strikes and dashes and explosions. Every single one was thought about and placed there with care and purpose. I feel that was my mistake with my last few paintings in this style, is that I was assuming you could just be free and just splash things on the page, when in reality, actually you do need to think about your placement of these things to a certain degree. There are stages where you can be totally free and liberal, sure, but when you're working with something like ink in this manner, every move must be deliberate. Every move must be thought out. Anyway, I'm going to wrap things up here, guys, because this painting is almost over. So thank you so much for watching this and for joining me on this. If you'd like to support my channel and my content, head over to Subscribestar, and you can have your name stuck at the end of the videos, like these lovely fellows here. And as always, I'm going to stop rambling now. I'll catch you in a bit. Peace.